Calaroga Shark Media.
Bonus episode. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with breaking news about the Joe Rogan Experience. If you're a new casual listener who just discovered the podcast, there's a normal episode in the feed from earlier today. The headline from the Wall Street Journal, Joe Rogan gets new Spotify deal worth up to $250 million. The part that has me excited, hit show to be distributed broadly, including on YouTube, rather than exclusively on Spotify. I had mentioned during the week, I love Rogan's podcast, but I just kind of don't listen because I don't use the Spotify app. I personally use Pocket Casts. The Journal reports it's a multi-year term involving an upfront minimum guarantee plus a rev share based on ad sales. Under the new licensing agreement, Spotify will sell ads and distribute the Joe Rogan Experience across several podcast platforms, including a video format on YouTube. Spotify had its first deal with Rogan in 2020. It agreed to pay more than $100 million to bring the Joe Rogan Experience exclusively to Spotify. The Journal writes, by distributing Joe Rogan's show broadly, Spotify stands to make more money from ads as it sells the podcast reach to a larger audience. I've been paying attention to this. Bill Simmons seems to have a lot of influence at Spotify these days. Earlier in the week, I saw that Call Her Daddy was no longer exclusive, and I wondered what would happen with Rogan. So I know from listening to Bill Simmons, he is of the opinion of be everywhere. I am of the same opinion. I call it Jimmy Buffett theory. Jimmy used to stream all his concerts live on YouTube. You didn't have to go to a Jimmy Buffett show, but guess who was almost always the top touring act every summer? It was Jimmy Buffett. So be everywhere. So Joe Rogan, happy to have you back. And for podcast snobs, now I'm deep in the weeds, but if you listen to podcasts about podcasting, they've been arguing, is Joe Rogan a podcast? Well, it's not, because it's exclusive on Spotify and RSS inclusions, and who cares? Civilians think it's a podcast. And now, if I can get it anywhere, it's a podcast. Welcome home, Joe Rogan. Congratulations. Don't spend all the money in one place. And that's a bonus episode. Again, if you just discovered the podcast today, there's an episode earlier in the feed, and I'll be back in the morning. See ya. I'm excited, man.